This is Robert Kraft, and I'm coming to you live on SNNLive, and we're here at the 9th annual LD Micro Main event in Bel Air, California. With me right now is Terry Lingren from Resonant Inc., publicly traded company with the symbol RESN. Terry, welcome back to SNNLive.
Thank you, Robert. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you back. So for our audience, let's start with an overview of the company, and then we'll get into an update.
Sure. So Resonant was founded in 2012, went public in 2014. We're dedicated to designing radio frequency filters, RF filters, for mobile devices, specifically for phones. It's a huge market and is growing about 20% compounded annual growth rate. What we do is bring unique tools, technology, and a team to this market. There were over 40 billion of these filters that were sold last year. 20% CAGR, it'll be 50 billion this year and over 60 the next. $8 billion growing to over $14 billion over the next few years.
So for those who may have missed the, let's get into an update, because our last interview was just about 6 months ago right here. Yep. So tell us, what's going on in the company?
This story this year has really been a story of execution. We are, as I alluded to just for a moment, we do designs for manufacturers. We don't manufacture ourselves. So we have been spending this year talking to the manufacturers, filter manufacturers, foundries that do these radio frequency filters, these RF filters for mobile devices. When we last talked, I think we had 2 customers and 5 designs under contract. That's now grown to 5 customers and 20 designs in-house. So these designs will go through our manufacturing processes, through their manufacturing process of our customers, get into production, and then we earn per unit royalties, as well as some upfront and license fees as time goes on.
I was just going to say, I took a look at the recent news that the company's had out there, and it's contract win, contract win, contract win. Tell me a little bit about that. What is the process to get these wins and bring on these new customers?
Sure. We have a presentation on our website. One of these slides on there talks about the market. And if you look at the slide, you can see on the left-hand side are the filter manufacturers and foundries that do these RF filters. It's pretty contained. 8 to 10 companies that really control the entire market, all of these 40, 50 billion units per year. The next column over from that is really the supply chain that supplies the phone manufacturers, the Apple, Samsungs, Huawei's of the world. The next column over are kind of the RF integrators. They take these filters and put them into integrated modules that they sell to smartphone manufacturers. Occasionally the filter manufacturers will also sell directly to the phone OEMs. What we do, we've been spending most of our time on the left-hand side on these filter manufacturers and foundries themselves, because it's the quickest time to market for us, 12 to 18 months between the time we engage and the time these filters get into phones and we start seeing recurring per unit revenues.
So what I also want to know then is, what is and I think we talked about this a little bit in June, but what is the sales cycle like? How do you bring on a new contract, new customer? We're talking to all of them. In addition to the filter manufacturers and foundries, we talk to the module manufacturers as well as to the phone OEMs to let them know who we are and what we do and how it's different than what everyone else does. We protect our IP through patenting. We have over 100 patents now. But most of the time, talking to the customers is how we can help them approach this market. One of the big pain points in the market right now is the fact that there aren't enough designers for this huge and growing capacity. Every manufacturer in the industry is looking for more either designers or a way to get more products into the market. They all turn business away, so it's a big opportunity for us. You said a point in there that I actually wanted to hit on too, is what is the main differentiation factor between how you guys are doing this versus the competition?
So everyone in this industry are vertically integrated. It's much like the semiconductor industry was in the 70s and 80s before the advent of modern EDA tools, electronic design automation tools, software tools, in that all of the filter manufacturers today have their own fabs. They have their own design teams. They have their own in-house grown tools that they use.
What we bring to this is more like the start of professional EDA tools, where we bring design capabilities that are not available. Everyone uses the same design right now. It's called the acoustic wave ladder. It's actually been around since the 1920s with quartz crystal filters. What we do is we synthesize many, many, many different designs, millions, even billions of potential designs. The industry takes those then into their tools. They call them coupling of modes, COM tools. They're empirical based, so they're not as accurate. It takes many turns through the fab to get them from design conception into production. What we do is we have different optimization tools that then allow us to start with those synthesized designs and turn them much faster. Maybe half the time it takes to develop conventionally we can do on our tools.
So Terry, from what you can tell me, what are some of the company's goals and milestones for the first half of 2017?
Well, what we've been doing this year, as I mentioned, is a story of execution. I think the last time we talked, we had 5 products under development. We now have over 20 with 5 different customers. We look to continue to grow that, grow both our customer base, engage with more of these. They're really about 20 companies that control the vast majority of this market, either filter manufacturers or module manufacturers, and we're talking to all of them at the moment. We'd like to grow that base, grow it from 5 to more of that overall universe of customers. We'd also like to grow the number of designs that we have at each one of those. It's been very gratifying to us that once customers engage with us, we've typically seen it grow pretty quickly, both from a JDA or MOU to begin with into license agreements, and then to add on more filters, to more filter designs to that. This market is really one of growing bands, growing filter bands, and we're hoping to capitalize on that.
So Terry, where can our audience go and find more information about Resonant?
Go to our website, www.resonant.com. We've got the presentation that we're showing here, as well as past presentations on the website. We've also published a couple of white papers around what we're doing, most recently on 5G and the coming 5G change to the carriers, which has implications for filter designers like us.
Well, before we actually finish up, can we find out a little bit more about that actually? Like what kind of impact will it have on you guys, the new 5G?
It's very interesting, and if you go read the white paper, you'll get some of the details. 5G is not quite as revolutionary as, say, 3G to 4G, but it's an overlay. What it means is they're opening up yet more bands, and it's more focused on going beyond mobile devices to Internet of Things, automotive, medical, and new markets, which we're looking anxiously at going forward with.
My name is Robert Kraft, and I'm coming to you live on SNNLive, and we're here at the 9th Annual LD Micro Main Event in Bel Air, California. With me again is Terry Lingren from Resonant Inc., publicly traded company with symbol RESN. Terry, thank you so much again.
Thank you, Robert.